Most people think learning fast means cramming harder. It doesn't. It means learning in a completely different order than school ever taught you. There's a 4-step sequence that shows up in every fast learner's process, whether they're a surgeon, a language coach, or a chess grandmaster. Skip a step, and you'll spend 3 times as long getting a third as far. Follow it in order, and a subject that used to take you a semester can collapse into a focused week. That's what this video is. The sequence, in order with the exact moves to make at each stage. 4 steps. No fluff. Let's start with the one almost everyone skips. Before you open a single textbook or press play on a tutorial, you need to know what you're actually trying to learn. That sounds obvious. Almost nobody does it. Take one sheet of paper. 3 columns. Concepts. Facts, procedures. Concepts are the ideas you need to understand. Things like supply and demand, or how verb conjugation works. Facts are what you need to memorize. Vocabulary, dates, formulas. Procedures are what you need to physically practice. Typing, speaking, solving. Fill in all 3 columns before you study anything. Then circle whichever items look hardest. Those are the ones that will eat your time later if you don't front-load them now. One more move here, find someone who already learned this exact thing well, and copy their path instead of building your own from scratch. If 3 people who learn Spanish fast all say, immersion beat textbooks, that's your answer. You don't get points for reinventing the route. 15 minutes with a pen solves problems that 15 hours of unfocused studying never will. Richard Feynman won a Nobel Prize in physics, and he had a habit that had nothing to do with equations. Whenever he got stuck on something, he'd ask himself if he could explain it in plain language to someone with no background in the subject. If he couldn't, that meant he didn't actually understand it yet. He just memorized the vocabulary around it. Here's how to run that check on yourself. Write the topic at the top of a blank page. Underneath, explain it the way you'd explain it to a smart 12-year-old. No jargon, no borrowed textbook phrases. Where you stall or start reaching for complicated words, that's your gap. Go back to the source. Relearn just that piece, and try the explanation again. Once your written version reads clean and simple, say it out loud to another person without looking at your notes. If they follow it, you're done. If they don't, you found another gap. This works because jargon is a hiding place. Simple language has nowhere to hide. Practice only works if it's aimed at the right target, and most practice isn't. First rule, practice the real thing, not a simulation of it. If you're learning to negotiate, negotiate. Don't just read about negotiating. If you're learning a language, talk to people in it. The closer your practice sits to the actual skill, the faster it transfers. Second rule, stop running full repetitions and start isolating your weakest link. Researcher Anders Ericsson spent decades studying expert performers and found something counterintuitive. Doing a task repeatedly doesn't automatically make you better at it. It just makes your current level permanent. Improvement comes from targeting the exact part that's holding you back. Here's how to apply that today. Pick the skill you're working on and break it into its smallest pieces. Run through it once and notice exactly where it falls apart, where you hesitate, where you get it wrong, where it feels hardest. Isolate that one piece. Drill it on its own, separate from everything else, until it stops being the weak point. Then put it back into the full sequence. A pianist doesn't get better at a piece by playing it start to finish 50 times. They get better by finding the 4 measures that trip them up and running those on repeat until they don't. You can learn something perfectly today and lose most of it within a week. That's not a memory problem. That's just how memory works. The steepest drop happens in the first day or 2 after you learn something, then it levels off. Rereading your notes does almost nothing to stop this. What works is forcing your brain to retrieve the information without looking at the source. Close the notes, try to recall the answer from memory, then check yourself. That single act of retrieval builds a stronger memory trace than 5 rereads combined. Pair that with that spaced review. Instead of reviewing something once and moving on, review it again after a day, then a week, then 2 weeks, pushing the gap wider each time. You're catching the memory right before it would have faded, which is exactly when reinforcing it does the most good. If you want this automated, tools like Anki handle the scheduling for you. You build the flashcard once, and the app tells you exactly when to review it. 5 minutes a day of that beats 5 hours of rereading the night before a test. One more piece, and it changes everything downstream. Stop trying to hold all of this in your head. Your memory isn't built to be a filing cabinet. It's built to generate ideas. So build the filing cabinet somewhere else. A notes app? A folder? A simple document? Somewhere outside your skull. 4 moves make this work. Capture only what actually strikes you as useful, not everything you read. Organize it around what you're currently working on, not by abstract categories nobody revisits. Boil each note down to the 2 or 3 lines that actually matter, so future you can scan it in seconds. And then use it, write with it, build with it, teach with it. That last step is the one people skip, and it's the one that matters most. A note you never use was never really learned. It was just filed. 4 steps in order. Map the subject before you touch it. Explain it simply enough to expose the gaps. Practice the real thing and isolate your weak point. Then lock it in with retrieval and spacing, and offload the rest to a system outside your head. Pick one thing you're trying to learn right now, today, not next week, and run just the first step. 50 minutes, 3 columns, 1 page. That's the whole barrier to entry. If this saved you time, you know what to do with the subscribe button. And drop the skill you're working on in the comments. I read all of them